Hi, everyone. How are we? You guys may be familiar with Judge Kenneth King if you watch any of the Zoom YouTube trials. I would say trials, a lot of daily quick activities. Judge King is pretty popular, I believe. He's out of Detroit, and there's been some hubbub about what's going on with him. There was a group of students. Let me put it to you this way. There was a group of students brought into the courtroom on a field trip. A Detroit nonprofit hosted the field trip so the students could learn about the legal system. But there was a student who was sleeping, a teenager who was sleeping. So Judge Kenneth King, because of her attitude inside the courtroom, decided that she had to wear a jail uniform and be handcuffed. Now, before the defense and prosecution even entered the court, King addressed the students and answered their questions. He then noticed a 16-year-old girl dozing off. I don't know. I thought I read somewhere she was 15, but we'll see. You fall asleep in my courtroom one more time, I'm going to put you in back. Understood? The judge addressed the girl in the courtroom. Judge King then says the teen gave him attitude for falling asleep. It wasn't so much that she had fallen asleep, because I have attorneys that fall asleep sometimes. So that's not too big of a deal. It was her whole attitude and her whole disposition that disturbed me. I wanted to get through to her and show her how serious this is and how you are to conduct yourself inside a courtroom. So we're going to watch this news clip really quick.
But first, the action a judge took against a teenager on a field trip to his courtroom has some asking, is he out of order?
The teen who fell asleep ended up in a jail uniform and handcuffs.
I spoke to Judge Kenneth King. He stands by what he did, placing a 16-year-old in handcuffs after she was allegedly misbehaving on a field trip in his courtroom.
One thing you'll learn about my courtroom is that I am not a toy. I am not to be played with.
What started out as an informational field trip with the greeting of Detroit nonprofit Tuesday to the 36th District Court in front of Judge King.
This is the 36th District Court for the city of Detroit. We do just about everything that happens in the city of Detroit.
Quickly turned into Judge King getting visibly agitated over a sleeping student in his courtroom.
You fall asleep in my courtroom one more time, I'm putting you in the back, understood?
Judge King had her removed from the courtroom, but he told me that didn't fix her, quote, attitude. And that's when he pulled out the jail uniform and handcuffs.
That's not something that normally happens, but I felt compelled to do it because I didn't like the child's attitude.
King says he was trying to teach the teenager a lesson on behavior and respect in court.
I haven't been disrespected like that in a very long time.
He then threatened the girl with jail time.
I'm going to go to sleep tonight while you're sitting in the juvenile detention facility.
Was I really going to do that? Probably not. Could I have? Probably so. But that's not what I want to do to a kid who's there on a field trip.
His methods on teaching the youth now raising questions within the legal community.
So this has gotten so blown out of control that Wayne State University has ended his teaching job. So let's listen into this.
All right, this story keeps trending right now. The fallout continues after a Detroit judge had a teen handcuffed because she fell asleep in his courtroom. Wayne State University tells NBC News that Judge Kenneth King has been removed from teaching classes there. The move comes after King admonished 15-year-old Eva Goodman after she fell asleep in his courtroom during a field trip on Tuesday organized by a Detroit nonprofit. Eva's mother says her daughter was put in jail clothes and handcuffed. The chief judge at 36th District Court says King has been removed from his criminal case docket as he undergoes necessary training.
Really? Whoa.
Would you want someone to treat your child like that? Would you even treat your child like that if he fell asleep in the courtroom?
The distraught mother of Eva Goodman is speaking out after a Detroit judge put the 15-year-old in handcuffs during a field trip visit to his courtroom. Judge Kenneth King said he didn't like her attitude after she fell asleep.
You fall asleep in my courtroom one more time, I'm putting you in the back, understood?
He's now been temporarily removed from the bench and will undergo training after the incident. But Goodman's mom is setting the record straight, explaining her daughter was tired because their family does not have a permanent home right now.
To belittle her in front of the whole world and her friends to make her even feel more worse about our situation. I'm a single mother. I'm trying my best. I'm doing everything that I can.
You sleep at home in your bed, not in court.
So the fact that he was talking about you go home and get in your bed, how do you know my baby got a home? How do you know my baby got a bed, her own bed that she could sleep in? She don't have that right now. So she was tired.
Judge King defended his actions on Tuesday, claiming the incident was his version of scared straight.
You didn't scare nobody straight. You made a parent upset. You scared my child. She was nervous, didn't even know how to act. She'd never been inside no courtroom.
Goodman's mother has removed her from the summer program and stood up for her daughter's conduct.
And my baby been struggling and she been held on tight. She been going to school. She get good grades. She don't give me no problems.
Rhiannon Alley, ABC News, New York.
Okay, I want to show you guys something really quick before we get to the lawsuit information. Because I was doing a couple of clips from his courtroom there for a little while. I don't know if you guys remember, I did some court hopping. It got to be too much. I couldn't keep up with it. Not doing that and this other that I want to do. So I had to do one or the other. So I chose to stick with these other trials. But let me find. There was one where he jumped on an attorney. And I thought it was interesting. And I was kind of like, well, did he go overboard on this? Now, the attorney was late. And it wasn't just that he was late. He had been late many, many, many times, apparently, according to King. I don't know how many times, but I haven't watched this in a while. So let's watch this really quick.
Mr. Figueroa. Unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself.
Good morning. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. We're just waiting on your attorney, as usual.
Now, it's been more than 10 minutes since this Mr. Figueroa has been waiting for his attorney to appear in court on his behalf. But I believe that even before that, the attorney was running late. So I'm not sure. I would say anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes.
Mr. Vickers?
Yes, Your Honor. I have.
Be first
I'm
on
sorry.
your list.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I said for just once, I would like to be first on your list.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. I do.
Would appreciate it.
Yeah,
We're ready on Figueroa.
Come on, Your Honor.
Calling case number 2405-578801. People of the state of Missouri, listen to Jean Shu, Big From, defendant is charged in count 1, assault with intent to inflict bodily harm, less than real by strangulation, count 2, domestic violence.
Appearances for the record, please.
Eric Tucker, PA 5931 for the people.
Your Honor, may I please court Tyrone Baker appearing on behalf of Mr. Figueroa, who's present via Zoom, Your Honor. Good morning.
Tell me your name for the record, sir. Mr. Figueroa.
My name is Josue Figueroa.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Vickers.
Your Honor, we respectfully request an exam in this matter.
Court will continue the plea of not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination. How's March 11th at 12:00 p.m.?
That would be bad, Your Honor. I'm going to be coming back into town that day. if I'm double checking that. Yeah, that's the Monday. Yes, I'm going to be coming back into town from out of town. The rest of that week is open.
March 13th at 9 o'clock.
That should be fine, Your Honor.
Need you to hang on for a second, Mr.
Fair enough, Your Honor. Your Honor, can I do a breakout room, Mr. Figueroa, and then come back?
Okay, hang on a second. Mr. Figueroa, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with your attorney. Hang on a second.
All right.
Pardon me, Your Honor, what was the time on that, March 13th at 9 a.m.?
March 13th at 9, yeah.
Thank you.
Mr. Figueroa, go ahead and join the breakout room.
All right. I'm not sure how to do that.
I haven't seen the button, Your Honor. I haven't seen the button yet either.
I haven't did it for you yet, Mr. Figueroa. I want to speak to you for a moment.
All right. I can figure out how to do this.
Can you guys just call each other because he doesn't know what he's doing, Mr. Figueroa?
Mr. Figueroa, I need you to take down this number.
Yes, I'm done.
Are you ready, sir, for the number?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Figueroa.
It's 248-0941.
Did you get that, Mr.
Okay.
Figueroa?
I'm going to Zoom and call this number.
You call that number in about 10 minutes. In about 10 minutes. Yes.
Call him in 10 minutes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Okay, Mr. Vicker.
Yes, Your Honor.
The court is going to assess you a fine of $75, sir, for your constant tardiness.
Your Honor, I would.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I've tried over and over and over again, and at this point, I'm just fed up. I don't have anything else I can do but assess you a fine.
Okay.
So make a check out to 36th District Court.
I would like to appeal it. So I'm just letting you know, Court, Your Honor.
All right, well, understand that that's the bottom rung. It's going to increase.
As understood, Your Honor. At the end of the day, like I say, whether it's YouTube, whether we make the record, it'll be addressed. So I heard the court. Court knows where to find me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
By tomorrow, sir. Thank you.
So I don't know what the background was with that specific attorney's tardiness. It could be that this has been multiple times. I'm not sure, but I wanted to show you guys an example of what I had remembered about how Judge King was. And I had probably watched, when I was doing the court hopping, 10 days of his stuff. And he just came across as cocky. I think the reason I stopped watching it is because the audio in his courtroom was just so bad. It was just hard to really get anything that you guys could enjoy watching. This was written on the 24th of August. He had been under scrutiny before for, I guess, commenting on YouTube on his channel where he streams these live. It says, when 11-year-old twin girls took the stand to testify, their father essayed them. You guys know what essay means. Commenters flooded the chat in the 36th District Court of Judge Kenneth King's YouTube live stream. People were typing stuff such as, oh my gosh, poor baby, or these poor children. And the chat's designated moderator added she'd gladly catch a case in protecting these babies. When the commenters began getting confused, asking questions about how the litany of witnesses were related, King appeared to start typing. He typed, Tony is the defendant, as one of the girls fielded questions from a lawyer. Then another note from the court handle popped up. That kind of interaction between the court account and King's scores of online followers is not unusual. A free press investigation found evidence that suggests the embattled judge routinely engages with commenters on social media platform, including in the middle of court proceedings. At least once he appeared to miss a lawyer's objection while monitoring the online chat. And in the case of the twin girls, the court's account expressed an opinion in the chat about the defendant and case 5 days before determining there was enough evidence to send it to trial. Ooh. The Free Press reviewed video that shows King typing at roughly the same time comments appear in the chat. The commenter uses first-person pronouns, including my orders. Rachel Cray, who until recently moderated King's chat, said King was the one posting under the 36th District Court, under that handle. And in 2022, King told a news outlet he posts at time in the chat, although he said not during proceedings. 2 judicial officials have some oversight powers of courts, told the Free Press. A judge commenting in a live chat during a hearing was inappropriate. And a national judicial ethics expert said a judge expressing an opinion about a case is problematic. Even reading comments during a hearing could be improper if posts reveal details about the case not presented in court yet. I mean, gosh, think about it, you guys. They sit there and tell the jury not to look at this stuff, and yet he's looking at it. He's on social media. King did not return calls seeking comment. His lawyers did not immediately answer questions on Friday about his use of YouTube and the chat. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 shutdowns that forced courts to go online, Michigan judges aren't required to live stream, but they can. Those who do operate within an emerging arena in which everything is under review, from restrictions on how long proceedings remain online to the platform where they appear. The idea that King is performing for an online audience is one criticism in a new federal lawsuit against the Detroit judge, filed by a teen King recently detained and threatened with jail time. All right, we're going to watch this. I couldn't find the full, they might have taken it down. I bet they did take it down. Now we're going to get into this lawsuit.
New developments now in that case involving a Detroit teenager who was handcuffed and forced to put on a jail uniform after falling asleep during a field trip to a local judge's courtroom.
That 15-year-old girl's family announced it's filed a federal lawsuit against the judge and also the security company from that courtroom. It's all over how they allegedly left the girl feeling traumatized. Damon Fernandez is digging into those court documents, joins us tonight, and this family is just so upset.
Yeah, that's the truth. You know, here's a copy of that 54-page lawsuit they just filed against that judge and his court officers. In it, lawyers are laying out 8 different counts. And as for damages, the teen's family is asking for at least $75,000 per count. That's at least $600,000. Till and her attorneys with the Feiger law firm just announced filing a federal civil rights lawsuit against Judge King, Allied Universal Security Services, and 2 court officers present during the incident, which was recorded and recently removed from online. Lawyers say violations against the teen include malicious prosecution, unlawful arrest, intentional infliction of emotional distress, vicarious liability, and 4 other counts. Video of that courtroom drama has made national attention over the last week. The federal lawsuit follows Judge King being temporarily removed from his docket. And there's so much more to unpack here. Now, the teen's mom says she just wants justice for what her daughter had to endure. I contacted Judge King to ask for an interview or statement. So far, no response from him.
Well, what about, they did the field trip with the Greening of Detroit. Are they saying anything about this now in terms of how the child was treated?
Well, I did ask the Greening of Detroit for an interview on camera. They told me no for now, but they have gone on record saying that they believe that the judge's actions were unacceptable. Now, one thing that I did ask the attorney was whether they considered naming that organization as a defendant in this case, since the teen was under their supervision and care during that field trip and presumably had a duty to protect her. And the attorney said it's something they haven't yet considered, but the investigation is ongoing.
Okay, now we're going to watch the full press conference, and this is about a 24-minute video. This is brought to us by WXYZ TV, Channel 7 News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you. My name is James Harrington. I'm managing partner here at Feiger Law. To my right is Latoria Till. She's the mother of Eva Goodman, the reason that we're here. To my left is one of our senior trial lawyers, Gary Felty. He's worked with us for a very long time, and he'll be helping me out with the case. Eva is not here. This has been very hard for her. She was put on camera. She was live streamed. She was potentially put on a Facebook group with this. So we felt that it would be best that she not be here today. But we did feel that it was important to have everybody here today to discuss the lawsuit that we have filed today. The lawsuit that we have filed today is a 54-page lawsuit. We have named Judge Kenneth King as a defendant. We have named the security guard company as a defendant and the two security officers who we currently do not know their name, but I believe we'll get the names in relatively short order, and they will be added into the lawsuit. The counts that have been filed against Judge Kenneth King are for malicious prosecution, unlawful arrest and incarceration, intentional infliction of emotional distress, invasion of privacy, false arrest, and false imprisonment. And the claims against the security company are for unlawful seizure and detention of Fourth Amendment violations, false arrest and imprisonment, and that the company is responsible under a theory of what's called vicarious liability. This is a very troubling case, and we had a member of our bench berate, humiliate, intimidate, and essentially incarcerate a 15-year-old kid. And this 15-year-old kid was doing work for the Greening of Detroit, planting trees, and there was a scheduled field trip that was had in Judge Kenneth King's courtroom. And she was tired, she fell asleep, and the judge didn't like that. So he yelled at her, and she fell asleep again. And then he humiliated her and had a plan that he was going to have her ordered to be placed in handcuffs, have her put on the Wayne County prisoner outfit that I believe it's green. I've seen it before, and on the video that I've seen, it's difficult to see, but had her placed in that. This is in front of all of her peers. This is being streamed. This is online. And then she was detained, and this took several hours. The whole ordeal was several hours in time. He accused her of being disrespectful. He says, "I don't like your attitude." Says, "What's your problem?" And Eva, she apologizes. She says, "I'm sorry." He then threatens her about the juvenile justice system and asks, "Is this where you want to go?" We can hear this on the video. I believe that the video has since been taken down. I have seen some clips. I know all of you have seen clips. And certainly through the discovery process that we will be engaged in as the case goes on, we will be gathering additional evidence, hopefully more video footage to fill in some of the gaps that we have at this point. But when Eva's asked, "Is this where you want to go?" after being threatened and scared about the juvenile justice system, she says no. She was taken against her will. This wasn't some planned event that Eva was a willing participant in. This wasn't some type of event where her mother signed off on a parental consent and said, "Hey, today we're doing this type of an exercise and the judge is going to be holding some type of a mock trial." None of that happened. And as far as Eva knows, that this was very, very real to her, very, very scary to her, and somebody in a position of trust, somebody that was in a position of authority and power is threatening her about jail time, is threatening her by literally placing her in handcuffs. And so that is why we're here, and that is why we have filed this case. I know some of you may have questions about judicial immunity, and potentially you may interview other experts in the field. I can tell you with 100% certainty that there is zero immunity for what happened in the courtroom on this day. The immunity applies only when the judge is acting as a judge in a court proceeding. This was extracurricular. This was outside of being a judge. There was no hearing that was going on. Eva wasn't a litigant. She wasn't a party. She wasn't a witness. She wasn't a lawyer. She wasn't a court officer. She was there on a field trip. This occurred outside of the scope of a regular court proceeding. In fact, the judge had a proceeding, had finished that proceeding, and then asked if anybody wanted to be a judge or be a lawyer, and only one person raised her hand. Eva has no interest in this. She wants to go into medicine. Her mother's in medicine. Her mother is a CNA with an urgent care over in Warren. And Eva's been exposed to medicine, has no interest in the law. I told my children, don't go into law. It's a lot of work, but she has no interest in law. And only one person raised the hand, and one of the participants, one of the kids, went and sat into the judge's chair. The problem with what this judge did was this was completely outside of the scope of what a judge should be allowed to do within any realm of decency, but outside of any type of proceeding. So I bring this up because the first thing that people will say, the first thing that his lawyers will say, the first thing that anybody interviewed would say is, what about judicial immunity? And I'll say it again, 100% does not apply. Under the facts that we know right now as we sit here today, judicial immunity does not apply. Judge Kenneth King is not immune for what he did. So we are asking that eventually we're going to be asking that he be held accountable. We have no role in any type of investigative process that may take place. We know that his docket has been temporarily removed. We know that he was teaching classes at Wayne State University, that he is no longer teaching. That is something outside of what we're doing, and our sole focus and purpose is to represent Eva and hold those responsible accountable. So the next steps that we have in this is we need to look into the extent of the live streaming. I don't have a lot of answers for questions as to what extent and to how much he was doing through a Facebook group that he has called, I believe it's King's Corner, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not very techie, but I have heard that you can live stream things off of Facebook accounts. And I don't know how much he was playing to a public opinion on this, but that's something that we will be looking into very, very closely. We will likely be hiring expert witnesses in the field of computer forensics that can look into this to the extent some of those have been removed or no longer exist. We will find that out. And once we do, we'll certainly notify all of you of that. We would also, after today, because the lawsuit was just filed today, we'll be working to serve the defendants in this case, unless one of their lawyers reaches out and tells me that they'll be accepting service. So we will be putting our resources into this. This is a very important case. As a member of the bar, I do believe that when things like this happen, we have to hold people accountable. We can't just say, well, because this is a judge, I'm not going to take this case. I mean, Eva and her mother came to us and they asked us for help. And this is what we do. We help people. We help those in need. We take the tough cases. We take some of the unpopular cases. And we work very, very hard for our clients. So our focus is going to be on Eva. Our focus is going to be helping to make sure that her well-being is okay, because this is extremely traumatic. especially what was done by somebody in a position of power like Judge King. So at this time, I would like to open this up for any questions. Please direct the questions to me. Once everybody's through, you can ask questions of Eva's mother. Yes, sir.
Mr. Harrington, I do have a question.
Yes.
This too. I saw you were pretty distraught. I can't even imagine what your daughter's going through right now. Could you share with us how traumatic this has been for your daughter and your family?
Go ahead.
Stand up, the microphone.
I'm sorry? Yes. Latoya, come on over. And the question is how hard this has been for Eva.
It's been pretty devastating. Eva doesn't want to come outside. She doesn't want to be involved with no one else but family relatives. It's hard for her to sleep at night. She's asking me, why did the judge do me like this out of all the kids? Like, she's really not understanding the whole thing of the system or what happened or what's going on. So I wish I could have brought my daughter here for today, but she doesn't want to be in front of the camera. She doesn't want to talk. She's embarrassed, humiliated, and I can't blame her.
And what message, what message do you want to send with this lawsuit?
Basically, I just want Judge King to take accountability for the way that he humiliated my daughter. It could have been anybody's daughter. It could have been your daughter or anybody else's your daughter. So that's how I feel. I feel like he owed her a public apology. Not only that, he owes her more than just a public apology.
Mr. Harrington?
Yes, sir.
I noticed that the Green of Detroit is now listed as a defendant here. Did they have any duty to protect Ms. Till's daughter that day? And were there any steps on that organization?
No, that's a great question. And based on the evidence that I've seen, I don't know how they would have foresaw the judge taking these steps outside of being a judge. I don't know how they would have. So that wasn't something that we felt would be included in this case.
Hearing the facts early on, with reports that it was a field trip, I'm assuming there may have been some type of chaperones, questions about whether or not they could have stepped in when they saw it was getting too long, too aggressive. Said that she was going through this for hours.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's important to understand that when we're contacted by a client and we're looking at the possible cases, because anytime something happens, there could be multiple individuals responsible, and it's not uncommon for, as a case develops, that amendments to pleadings be filed. And we will be looking into every aspect. It's just what we know at this time, didn't point to anything that would suggest that the Greening of Detroit should be a defendant. If there was evidence that was presented to me tomorrow, later today, over the weekend, that would support that, I would be compelled on behalf of my client to represent her and to bring that. But at this point, the evidence that we've uncovered wouldn't have supported that.
Mr. Harrington?
Yes.
Is there a specific dollar figure or financial figure you guys are looking for in this lawsuit? Additionally, any specific kind of discipline for Judge King, maybe from the Judicial Commission or anything like that?
Sure. Well, there is the Judicial Tenure Commission, which I'm not a part of. I don't have a seat on, and I'm not involved with in any way, shape, or form, and that's not my focus. My focus is on Eva. And ultimately, as the evidence begins to unravel, I did not want to put something into this lawsuit, and then all of a sudden, let's say I find more evidence through certain means. I didn't want to have a number that was too low. So I just wanted to have the jurisdictional amount and move forward. And certainly when Mr. Felty and I are able to present the case in front of a jury trial, we will certainly be asking them for what we believe to be a large sum of compensation, because that's the only justice through this avenue that we can get is compensation for Eva. But right now, what's really important is understanding the facts, understanding what happened, how we got here, and working towards that accountability and answers.
Do you believe the judge should be removed from the bench? We know that he is going through some training before his docket is returned to him, but do you think he should be removed permanently?
I believe that the judge should be afforded his due process rights and his ability to, just as I represent Eva and Gary represents Eva, I believe that whoever is going to represent the judge in this should be afforded their due process rights. And I think me making a statement about whether or not he should be removed because of this and this alone without having those due process rights probably wouldn't be very responsible on my part.
Judge King has been criticized.
I can't hear you. Can you speak up, please?
Judge King has been criticized in the past for his interactions with commenters on the YouTube stream, and I would guess on that Facebook post as well. Is that something you've looked at as a part of this lawsuit, or is that completely separate?
It's developing, and I'm aware.
Question from when your daughter told you about this and you saw the video, what was going through your mind as a mother?
I was shocked because I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was unexpected of what the behavior from a grown man in a courtroom was in my child. So I was speechless. I can't lie, I was speechless. I didn't know how to handle it. I felt enraged. I felt sad. I wanted to cry for my own child, and at the same time, I wanted something to be done.
So Judge King has said that Ava was disrespectful both through body language, but also through saying something. I know that you said that she apologized to the judge for sleeping. Can you elaborate on whether or not she said anything else to kind of precipitate the interaction that happened?
I'm going to ask you the question. You tell me what she could have possibly said that would make it okay to put this 15-year-old kid in cuffs, make her go in back, put on a jail jumpsuit, come out in handcuffs, and be put through the disrespect to her, the harassment, the humiliation, and threaten to be thrown into a juvenile facility. So come up with something that would make that okay. So there isn't anything that she could have said that would have justified what Judge King did to Eva in that moment.
I'm certainly not trying to defend the judge. I'm just trying to understand this is what he said, and
right.
Trying to understand if she said anything else.
Right, and there are some portions that are inaudible and they're difficult to hear, and I need to have the whole video, but I don't care what she said. I don't care what the fact that she was tired and fell asleep. I don't care about that. We have there's this document called Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct. These are canons that judges are required to follow. And I was going through these. Here's one. It says, a judge should treat every person fairly with courtesy and respect. He didn't do that. The judge must maintain public confidence in the judiciary, and it is eroded by irresponsible or improper conduct. A judge must expect to be the subject of constant public scrutiny. Okay, there's a lot of things in here. And here's one, Canon 3. A judge should be patient, dignified, and courteous when dealing with others with whom the judge deals. We could go on and on. So again, I ask you, tell me one thing that she could have said that would have made it okay while acting within the bounds of what's required under Michigan law and the judicial canons. He overstepped.
It sounds like, just to clarify too, you're not filing or hadn't filed a complaint with the Judicial Tenure Commission. That's not.
We filed a 54-page federal civil rights case. I have not filed anything with the JTC. I've not filed anything with the Attorney Grievance Commission. In fact, I've never grieved one lawyer in my entire practice. I try to fight my battles in the courtroom and try cases for my clients in front of juries.
And this is a long way down the road. You're suing Judge King in his individual capacity I guess for monetary purposes, this, again, long way down the road, would this be tax dollars that he'd be using to pay out any possible settlement, or this is his individual?
That's going to be a question between him and the bargaining agreement that applies. I'm just pleading the facts as the facts stand, and whether or not he gets insurance for this, because there is insurance that every entity in the United States has. So this is a case, there could be insurance. Frankly, I don't care. I plead the facts as they are, and if an insurance company decides not to indemnify him and pay for the conduct that he did, that's not my concern. My concern is this little kid and what she went through.
Ms. Till, you obviously have been there with your daughter since this happened, and you've been able to see how it's impacted her. What would justice look like for you?
I just want to see my baby smile again. Just want to be her. I just want her to be herself, be happy. That's my justice. I just want my baby to be happy. I want her to come back out and be with her friends and be the normal 15-year-old girl that we all was once upon a time. That's all.
And Ms. Till, if you could recap just the life circumstances that led her to fall asleep in that courtroom that day.
As far as me and my children, I have 2 kids, 2 girls. We do not have a permanent residence right now. We do go back and forth between my mom's house and my aunt's house. And so that's our current situation. When I go to work, as any other normal day, I take her to school or work. My other child continues on to her education and extracurricular activities. I don't stop for nothing. This was just happened to be something that unexpected deadbolt. It stopped in my tracks. Is actually a hindrance right now on my life, to be honest.
What was your understanding of the field trip that day? Was your daughter an employee of the Green of Detroit, or was she part of a summer program? Can you give me some context there, or what your understanding was why they took the students there?
I cannot tell you why the children went to 36th District Court that day because I had no idea. I dropped my daughter off again as 8 o'clock in the morning to go to work. The transportation vans take them to their work zone. They're supposed to be planting trees or learning how to become productive, successful grown-ups in the world. They're young teens. They don't have any legal troubles or mental problems. They're good kids. And so from my understanding, it was supposed to have been a learning environment situation, maybe. That's what I know about it.
I'll take one more question, and also on your way out is a copy of the complaint if you don't have it. I believe it's been circulated to everybody, but there is a copy there for anybody to take.
To sum up Judge King's actions in those 2 or 3 minutes that he made these decisions.
Sum up his actions.
His actions and his reaction to those 2 minutes that he made that decision to put her in custody.
He crossed the line. Period. He crossed the line.
A big bully.
Any other questions? Anybody else have a question?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You all have a blessed day.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Maybe one good thing will come out of this, and it would be that maybe somebody sends her some financial help for those kids to get her maybe established into an apartment or something, a rental home. I think there's more people out there that are going through this than we know. And I would say that not everyone out there that is homeless is a bad person or has done something horrible to get themselves in that situation. It's unfortunate, and maybe she'll get some help. You guys send some prayers up for that family. And I don't know what's going to happen with this. I'm sure the media is going to stay on it. So we'll probably be back with some more stuff. In the meantime, I'm going to be recording some stuff for you guys in regards to JAC procedures and things like that. And we'll be up very soon with an interview with someone who has some insights into the JAC. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to like and subscribe on your way out, and feel free to leave a comment. Have a blessed day.